Today on Talking Solutions, this is a conversation I've wanted to have for a while. I want to welcome it to our studio. Jennifer Taylor, Executive Director of the Clean Energy Project.
Good morning, Terry. Thank you so much for having me. Really excited to have this conversation.
We both serve on the board of directors for the Poppy Foundation. Saw you at the bake sale, and you were doing the barbecue cookout. Nice work on the grill there, girl.
Thank you. If only it was a solar-powered grill.
That's a thought. Would that work?
I don't know. We did find an article about a solar-powered turkey cooker, but I cannot vouch for the effectiveness of that item, but it was out there.
I'm a little bit touchy on the temperatures you need to safely consume turkey and poultry, and we have other things to talk about. Can you start out, Jennifer, by explaining what exactly is the Clean Energy Project?
Clean Energy Project is an organization that's dedicated to moving our energy generation, transmission, and usage into the 21st century and developing and expanding Nevada's clean energy economy. And we do that by education and advocacy and engagement with Nevada citizens, businesses, and our decision makers.
You've got a nice website,
cleanenergyprojectnv.org. And if you want the latest in what's going on with clean energy in Nevada and across the country, you can just sign up for our updates there. We do newsletters and we provide education through our contact with our supporters on our website.
I'll make sure that I have those links available on our Talking Solutions Facebook page. What is your story, Jennifer, and how did you get involved with the Clean Energy Project?
From the time I was a young child, I really cared about conservation and sustainability issues. When I was 10, I had this crazy group of endangered species t-shirts that I used to wear around school. And when I was in law school, because I'm an actual licensed attorney, I really had wanted to do work on the environmental front. Things happen as they happen, and that's not where I ended up practicing. But I did still care about environmental issues, conservation issues, sustainability issues. And so I had been a member of the board of Nevada Conservation League, which was another advocacy group. And when this job came open, I applied for it because I really loved what Clean Energy Project did through all of its really fantastic, engaging educational work, through the National Clean Energy Summit, and through its work with our decision makers in making sure that we develop clean energy policies that will move Nevada's energy future forward and help Nevada's economy at the same time.
Being oriented this way since you were young, I know the feeling. I think I was in grade school when I first heard about solar energy back when they were instituting the first original Earth Day, solar power and electric cars.
Isn't it amazing since that time how far we've come? People would have thought that solar power was out of reach for most people other than maybe like a large-scale utility developer or somebody who was very, very wealthy. And that's just simply not the case anymore. NV Energy just entered into a power purchase agreement with a couple of different solar developers for some of the cheapest energy in the country. And it is amazing when you look at how stable those costs will be, because what you need to pay for is simply the development of the plant, but the power source, the sun, is always going to be the same, and the cost is never going to vary like you will see with fossil fuels. And when you look at some of the advances with electric vehicles, how they've become much more accessible to everyday Nevadans and everyday drivers across the country, storage is going to be the next revolution. It's going to allow us to bring state-of-the-art battery storage into our homes and businesses to power our homes, our businesses, and our cars. That's going to be the next game changer. And that's kind of what's going on with Tesla and the Gigafactory up in northern Nevada. There's basically like a storage war going on with these innovators and these technology companies to figure out who can bring that first and best mass scale storage technology to the masses.
My dream is to have the solar energy, if it's panels on the roof, whatever, to get the solar into the house. And then I want to have it come down and power my electric car.
Tesla's working on that for you.
I have seen some things in the news about Tesla, big players now in Nevada, developing some kind of a battery that you could actually install on the wall of your house to power your home.
That's called the Powerwall, part of their vision for energy revolution and the storage revolution that is the next phase in clean energy development and clean energy accessibility.
Revolution is a good word to use because it really is having a seismic change in the way that we do things.
Right. At Clean Energy Project, one of our hallmark educational events every year is the National Clean Energy Summit. This was the 8th year for it. And one of the panels that we had this year was on the Gigafactory. And it was with Panasonic and Tesla on the panel discussing not just the Gigafactory itself, but more importantly, the ripple effect that it has for communities where these game-changing innovations are developed and commercialized. Most of the summit video is available at the National Clean Energy Summit website.
Having the National Clean Energy Summit here in Las Vegas every year, there's something right about that. Our Are we setting the standard for the rest of the country?
Nevada absolutely is a leader in clean energy and renewable energy because of our state leaders' investment policies, one of which is our fantastic tax abatement program that Governor Sandoval implemented. The state has seen $5.5 billion in investment since 2010. When you take into account all the different areas where green jobs are created through clean energy production, manufacturing, etc., we have nearly 22,000 employed in those types of jobs. It makes clean energy one of the fastest growing industries in the state. And Nevada ranks among the top in the nation in nearly every solar job creation, generation, and development category. I also want to talk about all of the amazing resources that Northern Nevada has.
Teach me about geothermal.
Northern Nevada is a hotbed, no pun intended, for geothermal energy. It's one of the leaders in geothermal production in the country. By 2019, it's anticipated that geothermal generation will be the least expensive of all electricity sources. Geothermal provides energy from the heated water that's below the surface of the ground. We were recently awarded one of 5 spots in the Frontier Observatory for Research in Geothermal Energy project. That's another great technology R&D type project that puts a whole new light on Nevada and really lets the nation know that we're a leader in technology, innovation, and opportunity for renewable resources.
So the Clean Energy Project is not strictly solar.
We are technology neutral. We support any and all renewable and clean energy technologies that make sense for Nevada. So solar, especially in Southern Nevada, is the most obvious because we have 360 days of sunshine.
Mm-hmm.
But Nevada's renewable resources are really abundant, really plentiful. Nevada has the greatest geothermal energy potential of any state, and there's companies up north like Ormat that already power businesses and homes in Nevada and California using that natural heat that's in the ground. We have one utility-scale wind generation site up by Great Basin National Park between Ely and Great Basin, but the wind industry has really been interested in seeing what other opportunities are in Nevada for utility-scale wind.
We got all kinds of opportunities out there.
We do. If you ever take a drive down towards Boulder City, or if you drive out of Nevada through California on the 15, as you're driving out of Nevada, the Ivanpah solar plant is on the right. It's representative of another fantastic opportunity that Nevada has, which is to export our energy. That site sits on the California side, but it was in large part built by Nevada workers. Outside of Boulder City is an amazing compound developed by Semper U.S. Gas and Power called Copper Mountain. Copper Mountain sends its power to California. Southern California purchases the power that's generated here in Nevada, transmitted to California to power their homes and businesses. But the project is here. Tax revenue is here. The labor is here. Nevada really has the opportunity to be a regional leader in exportation and to really define our regional energy market.
Selling our sunshine, which we have plentiful amounts of.
Well, there's no reason why we shouldn't sell our sunshine.
That's just smart thinking.
It is. The other thing really worth noting is that we have virtually zero fossil fuels. So anytime we import natural gas or coal to power our homes and businesses, those are dollars that are leaving Nevada to go to other states. That's why it's so important and why there's such overwhelming support from Nevadans across all party lines, across all demographics for additional development and for policies that support the development of our homegrown Nevada resources, solar, geothermal, and wind.
Not a partisan issue. That in itself is exciting.
Clean Energy Project last summer commissioned a poll by the Terrence Group, which is a Republican pollster. And if you look at the news cycles on renewables, it would seem that the more conservative, the less likely to support clean energy. But in Nevada, we know that's just not the case. 75% of likely voters, both Democrats and Republicans, said they supported Nevada helping to develop renewable energy. 73% said our state didn't rely enough on our renewable energy. And 3 out of every 4 Nevadans support the state's goal of curbing carbon pollution by 30% or more by 2030. It's really something that Nevadans want. And we've had fantastic bipartisan leadership helping to move those policies forward, starting with Senator Harry Reid, who's one of the National Clean Energy Summit co-sponsors. He absolutely had a vision more than a decade ago of what Nevada and the West could be and could provide in terms of clean energy development, renewable resources. We've seen that vision taken up by Governor Sandoval, and he's really led the charge on a state basis, providing tax abatements, opportunities for investment by companies here in the state. And we're really blessed here to have bipartisan vision and leadership.
I like what you're saying about us not having to spend Nevada dollars on fossil fuels, things of that nature, taking the resources that we have right here in-house, develop them, make jobs, save money. Is there a downside downside to any of these alternative energy sources?
Used to be, the thought was they were too expensive. But what we've seen now is that that's just simply not the case. And as technology has improved, there is less concern about stability of the technology and being able to actually provide that power. There are technologies that are coming online to help integrate the renewable resources onto our power grid, which used to be a little bit of a concern, but now the technologies are catching up with that so that grid stability is not a concern. And the last thing really was pricing. And when you look at some of the power purchase agreements NV Energy has just signed that are the cheapest rate ever for any utility scale source of energy, there really aren't any downsides.
In previous conversations with other people, they'll come up with, it costs a lot to put it up, and I don't know how dependable it is. We might have to do repairs and replacements. That's the kind of argument for someone who is not entirely supportive of that technology.
When you are talking about people saying it costs too much to put up or we might have to do repair and maintenance, what they're probably referring to is rooftop solar. And what we're really seeing from our utility, and NV Energy has done a fantastic job really trying to integrate renewables into its portfolio, ranked 9th across the country for utilities that utilize solar energy. So as the cost has come down for utility scale, the cost has also come down by 70% over 10 years. So even for the average person who wants to put it on their roof, it's become a much more attainable, affordable option. There are several different models of how you could personally install solar on your rooftop. Clean Energy Project actually did a program called Solar 101 where we had representatives come and talk about their companies and their company's model. It's no other maintenance than anything else you would need to do in your house. Do you need to maintain your roof and check your weatherproofing on your rooftop? It's the same thing. So I think it's just a matter of continuing to educate and engage people and make sure that the best policies are in place in our state to allow for a fully realized clean energy economy.
Maybe that argument coming from somebody about, oh, it's expensive and it needs to be maintained, those are people who aren't fully educated on solar energy as it exists today.
There's a lot of work to do to educate Nevadans on the whole array of renewable options. A lot of people down south don't know about the geothermal options and resources that we have in northern Nevada. A lot of people don't understand pricing stability for solar utility scale plants. Just the bare fact that we don't have fossil fuels in Nevada and that we have to truck them in and spend our dollars outside of our state to power our homes and businesses through fossil fuels. There's still a lot of work to do, and that's what we at Clean Energy Project really look forward to, is helping to educate Nevadans on all of those issues.
Do you have educational opportunities where people can come in and learn?
Yes, we do. Go to our website, cepnv.org, and sign up for our mailings. You will get notification whenever we have an event. In fact, we are having our end of the year event on December 16th at Makers and Finders on Main Street. You can get the information on our website, cepnv.org. Sign up for our emails, which will keep you up to date on everything going on in the world of clean energy. We also have a Facebook page that we post on daily so that Nevadans can take a look at what the latest and greatest is in energy news.
We've got Jennifer Taylor, the Executive Director of the Clean Energy Project, talking about all kinds of alternative energy. Of course, here in Southern Nevada, a lot of it is solar. Different businesses and projects that have been going on.
That's absolutely the case. It's really been amazing the way large businesses and some of the nation's leading corporations have pledged to implement clean energy and renewable energy measures into their business models. And they are doing this not because they are all
green,
but because it makes economic sense for them. Some of them have incredible sustainability ethoses, like MGM Resorts International, who does have a 20-acre, 6.4 megawatt PV array at the top of their convention center that was installed in 2014. They are adding 2 more megawatts for the top of their recently completed convention center expansion. That will make Mandalay Bay the home to the country's 3rd largest rooftop array when it gets finished. Those 2 combined arrays will supply 26% of the resort's electricity during peak production, which is amazing considering how much electricity is used in that convention center. A lot of businesses have signed on to the Business Climate Action Pledge. Businesses like Walmart, Apple, Berkshire Hathaway, which owns NV Energy, and MGM Resorts International. And these are the leading businesses in our country that know that clean energy makes sense as a bottom line measure. They're not doing it purely from altruism. They are looking at it as what makes sense to their pocketbook. books. It's great. And again, the amount of resources and information available on the web about companies taking leadership on clean energy is as abundant as the solar in our state. You can look up the Business Climate Action Pledge and get a list of all of those companies. And if you're someone who wants to support companies that are like-minded, you've got a list of companies that you can take a look at from the large-scale companies. We've got a program called the Green Business Guide that we just released. It's on our website, cepnv.org. You can take a look at our local Nevada businesses that have signed on to climate pledges as well and have taken steps in their business practices to minimize their energy footprint. And we love the fact that we can push out those names so that as people do their holiday shopping, they can be supportive of those companies that are supportive of their same conservation-minded beliefs. We want to talk about Nellis, really impressive. Nellis has 2 phases of solar. One, they completed several years ago. The second one, they just flipped the switch on in the summertime, in excess of 15 megawatts. And that has saved Nellis about $1 million a year. This is the old statistic. Second array, I couldn't find those statistics, but at least 25% of the base's electricity requirements, and it serves over 12,000 people. What our military understands is that having that stable source of energy through a renewable resource that's homegrown here in Nevada and in the States makes sense for them against costs that are variable when you look at fossil fuels, and it provides security against having to secure our fueling sources from nations that may not be as stable or maybe they're in conflict with. So it makes sense from a national security perspective to start relying more on renewables. You can find countless examples of the military taking a greater initiative in bringing clean energy into their energy mix. And finally, the state's the leader, but we also have fantastic city leadership. The city of Las Vegas just announced that it was intending to move to 100% renewables in its electricity supply. They've already got a 20-year power purchase agreement for the output of 100 megawatts at the Boulder Solar Project. This is something that the city's been working towards, and we're so excited that we can live in a city that will eventually be 100% renewably powered.
Las Vegas is a great example of doing it right.
And if Las Vegas, with all of the lights of the Strip, can take aggressive sustainability measures so that they can work on being 100% renewable, it's attainable anywhere.
I agree. Southern Nevada in general, we make the most of what we have right here. Our water resources were so good at taking and capturing, reprocessing, and not losing any more of that resource than we have to. As local citizens, we've stepped up and really done things as far as water conservation. I just can't wait for everybody to be involved from a solar or alternative energy standpoint.
Solar is also a water conserver because it takes less water to provide our solar resources than it does when you've got power plants like the Reed Gardner coal-fired plant that was up near Mesquite.
I remember the stories that came with that. When you do a coal plant, it's not just generating energy, there are side effects.
Right.
Jennifer, steps for a homeowner to take if they're just getting started, because here we're going to come into 2016. This should be the year where we can all move towards solar energy.
Well, the first thing that every homeowner should be looking at are efficiency measures. If you reduce your use, that is going to make the foundational difference in terms of those side effects and the output of carbon pollution emissions from our power plants. Take a look at LED lighting, weatherization, basic things like maintaining your air conditioners and making sure that you're getting that regular maintenance. It helps you as a homeowner and it helps your energy usage. And there's a lot of great energy efficiency companies in Southern Nevada that would be happy to take a look at where you can make a difference. There's also lots of resources on the web in terms of simple things that a homeowner can do, or a small business that pays its own power bill. Once you decide that you want to do something solar rooftop, there are a lot of resources, again, available on the web to take a look at what's the right model for you, what do you need to be concerned about. There is, just so everybody knows, currently a pending docket with the Public Utility Commission that may change the way rooftop solar customers are credited for the power they put on the grid. A ruling is expected on that by the end of the year, and that may make a difference in how people are able to take advantage of rooftop solar. But we're still going to, I think, be a city and a state that provides great opportunities for homeowners.
We're leaders.
It's always great to lead good lists here in Nevada.
I like that. Every now and then one comes along.
Yep.
The name of the show. talking solutions. We're always talking about ways that we can help, ways that we can make a difference. So I get to hear about those number one lists or top of the list for Nevada, for Southern Nevada, for Las Vegas.
It's absolutely one of these areas.
We have the Clean Energy Summit here.
It was at Mandalay Bay under the arrays.
8th year. Senator Reid has had to do with that. President Obama has come in.
President Obama was our keynote speaker for the National Clean Energy Summit that we just had in August. Clean Energy Project is proud to be a co-sponsor every year with Senator Reid, and it was really Senator Reid's leadership and vision that led to that summit being here in Las Vegas. Our other co-sponsors are UNLV, MGM Resorts, and Center for American Progress. It's the leading convening of energy leaders, innovators, decision makers, and it's just one of the many energy industry conventions that comes to Nevada to talk about how to move forward. We've had the Wind Association, the Solar Association, the Geothermal Association all hold their national conventions here. We really are kind of the hub of the clean energy discussion, clean energy development, and clean energy leadership.
We're showing the world. A funny side note too, Jennifer, I was back in my hometown, I think Valentine's Day. Back home in Wichita, Kansas, we all get in the car, we go to Applebee's. I sit down in the booth at Applebee's and I look out the window and I go, what is that? It was charging stations, 5 or 6 in a row right outside my window for Tesla. And then I learned that Tesla, as part of their effort to make sure that people were not fearful when they tried to do a cross-country drive in one of their electric-powered vehicles, was setting up charging stations all across the U.S. And this was just off the freeway. There weren't a lot of electric cars there yet, but I got the biggest kick out of Tesla right there in Wichita.
Tesla and other electric vehicle companies and charging companies, like there's a company called ChargePoint, are really working to reduce what's called range anxiety. If you look around Las Vegas, there are a good number of places with charging stations. The County Government Center, NV Energy on Sahara. There are some small businesses that have charging stations. And in fact, small businesses can get benefits through the Department of Energy for putting charging stations that are available to the public in their businesses. One of the other really exciting things that we've got here in Nevada is an initiative that Governor Sandoval cut the ribbon on this summer. It's the Electric Highway, and it is 95 from Vegas to Reno, a program that puts in charging stations every 100-ish miles to allow folks with electric vehicles to be able to make the trip from Las Vegas to Reno with absolutely no range anxiety, because they'll have lots of stopping points along the way to charge their cars. And I know that the governor is excited about increasing the opportunities for traveling our wonderful Silver State in your electric vehicle by putting charging stations up on the eastern side and the northern side. And so that's something else that we really have to look forward to, is proliferation of opportunities so that range anxiety can never be a reason why you don't get your electric vehicle.
I never heard that phrase before. I love that, range anxiety. Just leaving Las Vegas, I've never even taken the 95 northbound all the way up to Reno, but you look at the sign, it's like 450 miles. This is a long, big state.
It's about a 6.5-hour drive from Vegas to Reno, with plenty of stops on the way to provide those charging stations.
Now I have a reason to drive to Reno. I never had one before. Now I just have to get the car to go with it.
Right.
Darn it. Jennifer Taylor is with us today, the Executive Director of the Clean Energy Project. Jennifer, what do you see looking into 2016 for the Clean Energy Project? What are you hoping to accomplish?
Well, one of the things that we are working on is Nevada's implementation of its own Clean Power Plan. And the Clean Power Plan is a national set of standards for the reduction of carbon pollution from our electric generating units. This set of standards was implemented by the EPA on August 3rd, and it provides specific standards and goals and targets on a state-by-state basis. So it allows the states to really have a lot of flexibility in how they implement their own energy policy to meet that ultimate reduction goal. Nevada is in a fantastic place to comply. We have had a renewable portfolio standard since the late 90s. In 2013, the legislature, our decision makers, adopted a bill called Senate Bill 123 that called for the retirement of many of Nevada's coal-fired plants on an earlier than anticipated basis. One of those was the Reed Gardner plant. So we are really, again, in a position to lead and lead quickly and get a plan in place quickly so that we can help define the regional market. As states around us need to reduce their carbon pollution emission from their power generation, they can look to Nevada as a resource to import some of their renewable energy needs.
They can buy it from us.
They can buy it from us. Every economy wants something to export. We have exported tourism and fun and minerals, and now it's time for Nevada to really step up and export its sun, its geothermal, and all of its other renewable resources.
That famous line, what happens in Vegas stays in Vegas. When it comes to solar power, it doesn't have to. I'd love to export it and sell it to you.
It should not stay in Vegas. It is there to help all of the neighboring states meet their power targets.
Clean energy project is what we're talking about today, and specifically renewable energy. A lot of talk about solar power, a lot of information also on the website at cepnv.org. You were talking, Jennifer, about an event that you have coming up on December 16th.
It's our end of the year event. We'll talk about basically a wrap up of the year in energy, and we'll also be recognizing some of our fantastic volunteers that really help us power the clean energy economy. Anybody who's interested in learning about our organization, meeting some of the folks that do the work at Clean Energy Project, we would welcome you and would love to have a chance to tell you a little bit more about what we do. So that's December 16th, and the information will be on our website.
cepnv.org. Maybe a small business that's thinking of going solar in 2016, that would be a great place to go and ask some questions.
That would be a great place for them to come and meet us. In April, on Earth Day, we actually did a breakfast for small businesses called Funding Your Efficiency. And we had people from NV Energy and from Southwest Gas come to talk about the efficiency programs that they offer. And it was a great opportunity for businesses to not only hear about those programs, but then just step right into a conference room and start signing up for some of those rebate programs.
I love the idea of solar power, renewable energy, and I will spend my dollars with a company like that if given the opportunity.
That's what we think as well, is that our 8,000-ish supporters want to know who supports what they support. And so that Green Business Guide is available for folks to take a look at. They are there to shop with throughout the holiday season.
We still got time for that. Las Vegas is so out front with our green leanings that the Welcome to Fabulous Las Vegas sign, green, you see the solar trees right there.
The solarization of the Welcome to Las Vegas sign was actually a project that Clean Energy Project was involved in. It's really neat that as you enter Las Vegas, that iconic sign, that first emblem of our city, is now powered through one of our greatest resources, which is the sun. The Welcome to Las Vegas sign was a joint project with Clean Energy Project, Green Chips, and CEA, which is the group that puts on the Consumer Electronics Show, along with Clark County and Bombard Renewable Energy, a company that's been in Nevada for a very long time, putting solar up for us. But what's great about that sign, not just that it's an emblem of Las Vegas, an emblem of Nevada, an emblem of the opportunities and resources that we have, but it's also emblematic through that coalition that put that project together of all the different entities, organizations, businesses, and individuals that are working together to bring Nevada to the forefront and to continue its leadership and innovation in clean energy.
Working together is what it's all about. Things like NV Energy also embracing solar power. It's not a thing of one against the other. It's more us working together and how incredibly efficient and cost-saving we can all be.
It's true. You just look from the top down. If you look at the bipartisan leadership that we have had in developing our clean energy policies to allow this great resource to be developed and to provide economic benefits, not just to the people in the industry itself. So it's not just the solar production companies. It's not just the solar installers. Those economic benefits come to all of us. When you look at $5.5 billion in investments, which is a 10-to-1 return from the tax abatements that were provided by the governor, that's really an incredible number to think that we have had more than a 10 times return on our investment to bring solar and other renewable geothermal wind development into this state. And that is a tremendous economic impact that affects all of us.
Jennifer Taylor, the Executive Director of the Clean Energy Project. Check out their website, cepnv.org. Also, links and information on our Talking Solutions Facebook page, as well as a podcast of our discussion. It just seems like there's no limit to what we can do with alternative energy sources.
There really is no limit to what we can do in Nevada with our homegrown energy sources. Nevada's solar possibilities could power the entire country. It's that level of abundance that really helps us set the stage and set the standard for what we should be looking at in renewable energy, not just in Nevada, not just in the West, but across the country.
2016, solar power for the house. Jennifer, is there anything that I've forgotten?
I think, Terry, that we've really covered a lot of information and a lot about what is going on in Nevada and all the opportunities that we have here in this state. I just want to thank you for giving me a chance to talk to Nevadans about what we have here and what a great resource we have and the fantastic opportunities we have to power our home and businesses through our own homegrown energy. And I look forward to getting to continue this conversation with you and with our neighbors and friends and decision makers.
My door is always open. Jennifer Taylor, the Executive Director of the Clean Energy Project, thank you so much for coming in to visit today on Talking Solutions.
Thank you so much, Terry.
Talking Solutions is a production of the Community Relations Department here at Beasley Media Group, Las Vegas. Get more information on today's topic on our Talking Solutions page on Facebook, where you will also find links and a podcast of today's show. Thanks for listening, and have a great week.